Hi, so we are now at the 11th spirit of the Goetia, and that is Gusion. Now, let me go through the Ars Goetia first, and then we can go through some of the correspondence and my experience. So, there we go. Gusion, the 11th spirit in order, is a great and strong duke. He appeareth like a Xenopolis. I'll come back to that later. He telleth all things past, present, and to come, and showeth the meaning and resolution of all questions thou mayest ask. He concilieth and reconcileth friendships, and giveth honour and dignity unto any. He ruleth over 40 legions of spirits, and his seal is this. And then we've got the sigil to follow. Now, on the Xenopolis, really struggle to pronounce that. I've looked into it. I've found absolutely no explanation for that word. I've looked into possibly Greek interpretations. If you know, please leave a comment or let me know, because I have no idea what that means in terms of appearance. I'll come to my and the popular experience that many people have when working with this spirit, but I honestly don't know what that is. Now, the correspondence. So let me just get my notes. So the dates are July the 2nd to July the 11th, direction north, tarot 3 of cups, planetary alignment is Venus, associated metal is copper, elemental would be water-earth. I would lean towards water personally. Colour is yellow or green. Plant association is aloe. Incense is sandalwood, and zodiac is Cancer. And the N for this spirit is Succor, Vesa, Anet, Gusion. Now, just on the pronunciation aspect, I have seen a few people say that this spirit is pronounced as Gusion. I think it's really down to personal preference and intent interpretation. I prefer and pronounce the name Gusion. I've seen people pronounce it Gusion, Gusion, Gution, whatever works for you. You know, there are variations, but let's go with Gusion for this video. So in terms of how this spirit quite often appears, it would be commonly, and this again is my experience or slight variations, but a humanoid figure, so a man with the head of either a dog or a jackal. Now, there is a specific name. I'm going to have to check my notes because I really struggle to pronounce this. A oh God, let me try that again. Cynophallus. Cynophallus. Now, this goes back to ancient Egyptian and Greek traditions, and it was a mythical being that would be predominantly in the area of Egypt, and as far as places like India would have similar spirits, but that is traditionally how Gusion appears. Now, in terms of energetically, I think that Gusion falls quite safely into the category of beginner friendly, very direct, very to the point, as most of these spirits are, but not not tricky to build that relationship with, like some spirits are. That's no disrespect to Gusion, but that's just my experience. Obviously, there is an aspect of building that relationship, but in general, a lot more informal, I think maybe is the right word, than a lot of these Goetic spirits. Now, why would you work with this spirit? Well, one of the big strengths could also be problematic, but one of the aspects of this spirit is truth of self, holding a mirror up so you can truthfully experience and witness yourself. Now, that can be challenging for, I wouldn't say a lot, probably most people. But when I say no nonsense and very direct, that is sort of the aspect that I think is sort of dominating. But very, very good for shadow work if you were wanting to sort of, go inside and sort of really uncover and dig into what your true self is, what your true desires, your true need for this experience of life. Gusion is absolutely amazing to work with in that aspect. Now, reconciling friendships, I think it's a little bit deeper than that he's particularly good at group work. So that could be whether friendships, that could be business, that could be people that you're in a band with, which is often a mixture of friendship and business. But if there is disagreements, the dynamic's not right, people have fallen out, particularly if they have a relationship themselves, they're not, kind of strangers, but they know each other quite well. I would recommend calling on Gusion to get that energy sorted, get that problem resolved and get things running smoothly again. But it can also apply to office politics, or if you're studying at university and things like that. People fall out, people have misunderstandings, disagreements, people fall into cliques. But if you're sort of wanting to be in something that is running smoothly, then Gusion can absolutely help with that. Now, another interesting aspect, I think it's interesting, and this kind of falls into the category of protection, is Gusion can help a magician expand and hone their skills. But one particular skill which is useful is he can really help. I don't know if that came through on the microphone, but we have some weird noises. I don't know what that was. It's very strange. He can really help sense what I would call the darkness in somebody. Some people can be a wolf in sheep's clothing, so to speak. They can be very friendly, charming, nice, but they can have malevolent intentions, not just towards you, but just in general. I would recommend, if you want to hone that skill, Gusion, again, is really, really good for helping you have that discernment, for you to be able to pick up on people's energy and see sort of, the actual truth behind the mask. Now, Gusion is also very good at answering questions, but as with many Goetic spirits, it's not quite as straightforward or simplistic as that. What Gusion often will work on with is, why are you asking that question? That's actually usually more important than the answer. Why are you asking this question? Why is this so important? And that makes you, again, linked to the shadow work, look inwards. Why is this so important to me? What is this triggering from my past? What is this this insecurity maybe, where is this coming from? Is it really actually about the answer to the question, or is it something much, much deeper and a bit more profound? It usually is. Again, Gusion, fantastic to uncover that truth. But mentioning truth, he can also have truth revealed, which can be a very important thing if you're stuck in one of those situations where you've kind of lost that sense of reality. You don't know if someone is lying or not. Then there are other Goetic spirits and non-Goetic spirits that are good for that, but it is one of Gusion's skills. He's also really good for astral projection, specifically if you are wanting to astrally project further out of the realm that you inhabit. Now, what I mean by that is, when we, if not we maybe, but when you astral project, you start doing the basics, don't you? So for me, it was to visualize myself out of my body in the room that I was in, laid on the bed that I was on. Gusion can help develop further into other realms. Now, you do have to have sort of the basics, maybe even up to intermediate level skills before you do that. But again, Gusion is very, very good at assisting and teaching the magician how to get that knowledge and skill and inner strength in all areas of magic, but astral projection in particular. Now, just jumping back a little bit to being able to pick up people's energy quite quickly, he's not particularly what you would call a love spirit, but he can assist you with knowing not just someone's true intention, their true self, but does someone love you? Are they in love with you? On those kind of matters, very, very good. But it's all kind of connected in what I call discernment, this area of discernment, being able to pick up energy, pick up threats, pick up love. That's kind of a skill that modern humans seem to have lost a lot. The what you would call sort of ancient generations going back thousands of years would have had to have had this discernment on quite a high level to survive day to day. In many cases, we don't really need that. We, in general, have quite safe and unthreatening lives. It's just my personal opinion, but I feel it's a skill that a lot of people have lost, but you can quite easily bring it back. This is one of the spirits that I would recommend working with. And just one last quick thing is, again, this does come up reasonably frequently with Goetic spirits, but this spirit in particular is really good for helping you make and keep friends. It is difficult, I feel, in modern times with distance and social media, and things have never sort of fully recovered for me personally, and a lot of people I know, since the lockdowns 5 years ago now. People got used to being very isolated, or just living through their devices, their phones, their laptops. But it's not really friendship, is it? You need to have that, face to face, that actual human interaction. Gusion's fantastic for bringing the right people and helping those relationships grow and last as well. I think I've covered in pretty good detail everything about this spirit. So, as usual, thank you for watching if you've got this far. The usual like, subscribe, upvote, downvote, whatever you want to do. But if you've watched this far, thank you.